Wow, look at how the thing going, the thing nice. The football real nice. City dropping points today. Arsenal alone at the top. And Liverpool still winless. Here we go. On the inside with me, President Charles, the man, Dr. Zeus, and Alice. How are you gentlemen doing?
Yeah, real good. Real good.
Some better than others, yes?
Indeed, bro. I could totally relate to that. Well, this week the Premier League has been really entertaining. But before we start off with what went on this week, we need to go back to last week, Monday, when Liverpool played Crystal Palace, which was the last game in the weekend last week. What we saying about Wilfred Zaha, boy? That man form so far for the season has been top notch. But that game ended in a draw. Crystal Palace, Liverpool 1-1. Good afternoon, Martin Phillip on the inside. Comments. You all remember, throughout this is a live program, so get your comments on the inside. If you're taking us in on YouTube, like, subscribe to the channel, and feel free to share the content as well. Liverpool was struggling last week. Nobody seemed like they were firing. It took a wonder goal, an individual effort from Luis Diaz, took the ball, beat about 3 players, cut to the top of the box, puts it in the back of the net, an unstoppable shot. And you told yourself at 1-1 Liverpool was coming back.
Yeah.
That wasn't to be the case. That was about all the action. The next hot man for them, Darwin Núñez, got a red card. So he is out for 3 games, a stupid red card.
Yes, very much.
I can't remember the name of the player from Crystal Palace who was antagonizing him and he headbutt him.
Anderson.
Anderson?
Yeah.
Right, thank you. I don't know, you like your strikers to be a little arrogant. But I don't know. What do you think about Darwin Núñez, boy?
That was very immature, and I would say is a had to deal with the fact that he didn't know what to expect in the Premier League. Maybe he wasn't expecting this kind of that level, I should say, level of torture he had to deal with just now there, because he was defending a close up point striker when the game much space, and then he initially did the first kind of headbutt back, and then after Anderson tell him, push him and see we're doing the nonsense thing. Anderson may have exaggerated a bit, but it was wrong.
Well, it was a headbutt.
Yeah.
It was a headbutt. It's one thing. I mean, if a man pretend and you grab your face and he ain't get hit, it's one thing, but he hit him.
Yeah, and Núñez should have known better. You would have won that from your $100 million guy. At least have some level-headedness with you, and he should indiscipline, and defenders are going to use that and antagonize him a lot more during the league.
Yeah.
So, I mean, go ahead, Alice.
It shows. I mean, we had to give kudos to Vieira too. It clearly shows that Patrick Vieira has been doing his homework on the teams that he's facing. And Crystal Palace had played one game before. They played the second game against Liverpool, and I don't know if we noticed, it wasn't the same style or pattern of play as in the first game. So clearly Patrick Vieira is doing his work as a coach and modifying his approach to the game. Darwin Núñez has always been very erratic since his days by Benfica. He's a very hot-tempered person. So it seemed as though it was part of the game plan for Anderson to get into his head early and see how he responds to it. And I mean, he get it touch and he dropped like he got shot, but it worked, right? So, I mean, we don't know what to expect from this Crystal Palace team. This team is a real exciting team to watch.
Yeah,
The one thing I would say about Nunez is that people, they don't take guys long to learn in the Premier League. If people
True.
realize you have a temper, they will target you.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs to know how to focus that energy on the football. Because if he get
Yeah.
into one-on-one battles every week, somebody will be looking to pull his strings. You know what I mean?
yeah, definitely, definitely, and it's a good thing you don't have to deal with men like Rudiger because
Well,
like Rudiger are getting him constantly. Easy card, like, go your way. Men well, the old school Manchester United stallions and them, you know, Foden and them fellas would have done been here a long time.
yeah,
John Terry, these guys would have dealt with him easy, and it's again it's just poor by him. And I hope Klopp gave him some choice words and let him
yeah,
know
yeah.
what he has to deal with. It ain't good. 100 million for the first Anfield game, and I will go on with you. Mm-mm. That didn't
Unacceptable.
for real.
And
And
I know. Go
just
ahead.
one more point. What Adelaide said with the Vieira, I don't think he getting much props for what he's doing with Crystal Palace.
Which
And
is unfortunate. He
it's
should.
not being spoken about a lot, but what he's doing at Crystal Palace is very, 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 very good work to keep them, not just keep them where they were last 2 seasons, but actually see an elevation with just not Zaha just being Zaha is the man, but the whole team is
Yeah,
just getting better and better every game.
yeah.
You're seeing an improvement, drastic improvement. And well, he's doing black coach in the Premier League, so that's another plus working.
True.
I would so yeah,
Yeah,
it's good.
I was impressed with what he did last season coming
Mhm,
in. His resume wasn't, it was long, but it really wasn't a standout.
mhm.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Um, so you know, good afternoon to Tristan. Well, I gotta tell you, bro, send your number now, man. Send your number. We taking in guests, on this show. We just take guests. You
Yeah,
understand?
Christoph, and when the game finished, I remember I messaged Chad that even before the game, the last week, I told him Liverpool gonna drop points against Palace. That's gonna happen. And when I saw it, I was shocked because Liverpool too, as Chad said, we was talking earlier, they're going up 1-1. They expected Liverpool to do what Liverpoolers do, pile on the pressure. And it did no money, no victory. I would look
Yeah.
at it like simple. That is how
Yeah.
I look at it as.
I think from the first show to President John, I think we made mention a lot of people the focus obviously because of what going on behind the scenes with other clubs, but the fact of the matter, nobody watching Liverpool, especially after the first game and even preseason,
Mm,
Liverpool is a team to really be concerned about, especially if you're a Liverpool fan, because it definitely isn't the same type of team. With Mane not in the team, the press is not as effective, and the midfield is not as mobile neither.
mm,
Um, how do they get it mobile? They use Harvey Elliott and these guys who are talented, but they are inexperienced as well. So Liverpool has questions to answer, and I think that they are really getting the favorable side of things, where people kind of giving them leeway and like, well, yeah, well, it's just 2 games. Well, for me, from the 2 games that I've seen, it really really shows signs of concern. It should be concerned because if they keep this up, Europe could become questionable. It may seem far fetched because of the
mhm.
talent, but if they keep up this what they are doing now, they could be battling for fourth place.
Yeah, it could drop significantly.
Yeah, it's two challenges Liverpool has, and we could take a little time to talk about Liverpool because we Liverpool again playing on a Monday, so we can't really talk about them and what going on this week.
Yeah.
But the two challenges Liverpool has: one, the defense doesn't look. I remember saying this last season when Van Dijk came back from that long-term injury. And I
Mm,
remember saying to people, Van Dijk does not look the same to me, right? The English commentators always bigging him up, but I found he just was not looking. He wasn't. He lost a step,
mhm.
and he just wasn't as crisp on it for me. And you're seeing that showing up. And then, well, we don't even need to talk about Alexander Arnold. Everybody who know football know he can't defend, right?
Uh,
And I think people have now started targeting Alexander Arnold side of the fields. Like, yeah, well,
Yep.
you want to run at Liverpool, run on that side.
yeah.
And so you have a defense that is leaking goals. And when I say leaking, I don't mean plenty, but still, once a team score on you, you had to outscore them. And
Yeah.
then, despite your heavy hitters, we all know what Salah could do. Luis Diaz looks good going forward. Yes, you have Nunez, but despite having the firepower as a team, clearly that is not clicking. The chemistry is not there. So you're conceding in the back. You're not fluid going forward. And until Liverpool get it right, and we all expect them to get it right at some point, until they get it right, people will be running at you, right?
Yeah.
Look at what these other teams doing against the likes of City and Chelsea. Nobody not playing like if and Manchester United. Nobody not playing these teams now like if they frighten. Nobody ain't frighten anybody right now. Everybody running hard. So let's see how that goes.
Mm.
That sort of put
So
back into Liverpool of old. The Liverpool just after Klopp took in. Just after Klopp took in, they was scoring, but he backed the leaky. So just recycling the process. In that top first four teams so far.
wow, man, a man dropping breaking news here, boy.
But
Who
I told them Anthony come in, he coming to earlier. He
who
coming
who
to
who, who
Woo.
confirmed this Tristan?
Yeah, I had to see Fabrizio release
Fabrizio
that, and then
confirmed this. Who
when
confirmed
Fabrizio
this?
releases, I will totally agree with it.
Anyway, don't worry. Between now and the end of the program, we'll know for sure if that is confirmed. All right, guys, let's jump into this week's activities. Game week 3. So the first game was Spurs taking on Wolves. Another. I don't know. I don't know if it's just dust. If people just need to shake off the off season. We spoke about Liverpool's challenges. Even though they started off the term with 4 goals, I haven't been impressed with how Spurs has been looking. Right, they won their game yesterday. They beat Wolves 1-0. But to me, Spurs look second best most of this game, and it took Harry Kane, a bit of Hurricane brilliance to get them over the line. And I really wasn't impressed by Spurs' performance. I don't know. You'll seeing what I seeing.
I not seen what you're saying. I
You
think
find Spurs look good?
yeah, you can look good and score 1 goal, and you can look good and not score. You can look good and concede a million goals. But Antonio Conte's team, as we seen at Chelsea, at Juventus, at Inter Milan, his wing backs are what he uses. He presses hard, and Perisic is the
It's
ideal man for him.
two assists for Perisic in two games here now.
Right, so he is the ideal man. They also have Sigurdsson is his name. Yeah, runs
Yeah.
on the bench. Then they have the youth who's 19 on loan in Italy. So he has once Conte is there for the next 3 years. I Spurs are going to be a force to reckon with. Right now, as the season now started, 3 games inside, they're looking like the team, like a Conte team. They're looking like the Juventus of Conte, Inter, Chelsea, even Italy. They look like them. They may not score plenty. I always like to when they equate good-looking teams with scoring plenty goals, but they're doing the job effective. They're locking off going back, and they're looking pressing going forward. It could have been 2-0. It could have been 2-0. It could have been 3-0. But the important thing is they got their 3 points, and Spurs are in the top 3 in the table. And and Spurs, or the Spurs, to see Spurs in top 3 right now, it's shocking to me. It is a real shock. That is the elephant on the tree parable right there for me right now. How they reach there, I don't know, but they're gonna be hard. It's
Spurs, boy.
no,
What
and
you can
it's
say?
not.
What you can say about Arsenal, boy? But anyway, carry
We
on.
go reach to them. We go reach to them. No, the Spurs is not the team so much. So the team alone, is that man in the dugout there, Antonio
Yep.
Conte. That man there, he does have players even if fans want to fight and die for him. And when you have that mentality within the fan base and then the players, even if we squeak out one, we may have, as Darren said just now, they're never living up to the hype right now, but the getting they lost. The thing is they lost. You
Yeah.
understand? So the momentum is, building. So I really hope, Daniel. Wait.
I mean, in my preseason predictions for the season, I actually predicted Man City winning the league, and in a close second, Tottenham. And the reason why I predicted that is because I expected Tottenham to be a much more organized unit with him having them for the preseason and then coming into the season because no bias or anything like that, but it's a rule of thumb. Italian managers have a fabric, a style of play that they normally go to, and they instill that with their kind of authoritative personalities, and they get the players and the team to do what they know they need to do to get a result. The Italians really aren't about the flair and they're about getting the results. Has Tottenham impressed me, like watching the team play football? Football is two sides. They haven't been flamboyant at all, but they have been really, really, really organized. The 1-0 win they got at Wolves, I mean, they deserve it. They deserved it in the sense that when they got their chance, they took it. But on the day, the better team, I felt like, whew, should Wolves had had a striker that, like a Raul Jimenez of old who was in cracking form, I felt Spurs could have been, and there's no exaggeration, I felt like Tottenham would have been buried in the first half. Like Wolves had them on the ropes when the game started. But kudos to Antonio Conte, as Dr. Zeus lent to as well. His strength is in his wing backs. But I think that what we are watching as well, or what we not seeing as much, or what people not noticing, is that he has the confidence and he has truly brought about a sense of maturity in all of his centre backs, the three that play in the back. So no matter where the breakaway comes from or the counter attack or how many numbers coming at them, he has to be doing something on the training ground because these guys are never out of position. Normally, you see a 5-on-3 and you expect them to scatter, and it's just one ball. And these guys, all three men remain composed. So it's almost like the game lent for the excitement. But Antonio Conte's team has picked up this fabric of being composed and focused throughout. And as it is with any big team or any big player, one chance came, and Harry Kane, he took that chance. So this is what makes champion teams. We know that this is what champion teams are made of. They may not always dominate a game. Case in point, Harry Kane has not looked good for me in the season yet at all, but he scores when he gets chances, right? That's what the guy getting paid for. So Tottenham is a team to watch. Football is not always about the flamboyance and the attack. It's also about defense and balance. And Tottenham right now definitely is an example for teams to follow. You may not dominate a game, but get a result. And they have done that against Wolves.
Yeah, they do what they have to do. You understand? I mean, like what Tristan talking about it, like how he said the counter attack right through on the same move right through. I mean, if it broke, I understand what you're saying, but if it broke, we're changing it for it.
Yep.
They did the same thing at Chelsea. Same thing, absorb, hit on the counter, and it brought them a title. Last title we won with them. So I don't inherently I don't see it. But when it plays when they play the Man Cities, the Manchester United, the Liverpool, the Chelsea, the Arsenal, then you would see where it is the golfing class would be either the players or the managers and whatnot. I mean, yes, the refs give them a big help in the game last week. Anyhow, they gave them a big help in the game last week, but these are the things that's happened. It's better to be lucky than good sometimes, eh? It's ready to be better to be lucky than good. Take it when they get
it. For sure.
You know, so I know.
Let me just respond to this too, if I can. Especially because I saw the comment with how Wolves took them apart from the person just now. But having played football and stuff before, especially if you have a coach that knows how to play, that is consistent in playing three in the back and confident in that. Every time a counter attack looks dangerous, like sometimes we could see that as yeah boy, that team at shambles. But once you're playing three at the back and you have an experienced coach, like these guys prepare for that because there's always a possibility, right? Your wing backs are the ones flying forward. So this is being caught on the counter attack or facing quite a series of counter attacks is something that they plan for. They expect that in every game. And what Tottenham has done excellently is that most counter attacks, when a team playing four at the back, and they get a counter attack and catch the wing backs out, is almost a 90 or 85% chance that one ball is a goal. I think what Antonio Conte has done well, he has allowed his centre backs, particularly Hoiberg, who has been phenomenal for me in his role so far for the season. These guys have been blocking all the channels, so the counter attacks are coming, and the exposure is there. But for the ball to reach in the box, the guys coming down the wings, they have space galore. But you see in that box, whew, you had a thread and needle to find those fellas in the box, and for me, that is tactical brilliance, and I think because our modern football is this kind of exciting flying football, I think these kind of tactical parts of the game are often overlooked. It's often overlooked, and it seems as though it's luck and chance. But this is seeming like Antonio Conte has his team focused on doing that job specifically.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
just want to touch on the last part of the statement here, where he talked about them, completing the signings early,
Mhm.
and he had a lot of time to work on his tactics in the off season. Conte is a serial winner,
Mhm.
Yep.
right? Let's not forget he's won the Premier League, right? He knows what it takes. This is not his first rodeo, so he is going to have this Spurs team hard to beat. But I'm really looking forward to see Spurs play against the big teams, play against the Chelseas and the Cities and
Yeah.
and the Liverpools, because when you're grinding out results against Wolves, you just had to ask yourself if Wolves, as Dr. Zoo said, if Wolves had a better finisher in front, a proper number nine, I ain't sure you'd be talking about a 1-0 victory. Because Wolves had some real good
Yeah.
opportunities,
Yeah.
right? The next game that played on Saturday was Crystal Palace Aston Villa, which
Whew.
Crystal Palace won 3-1. Aston Villa started off the show, Ollie Watkins scoring in the first 5 minutes. And then that was it. It was the Zaha show again. You know what I mean? Zaha scoring 2 minutes after that. And in the second half, he took a penalty, missed it, but scored his own rebound. And that was his contribution. And Mateta put
Hmm.
in put in the last goal in the 71st minute off a Tyreek Mitchell assist. Um, you don't really have much to say about that, Crystal Palace
Yeah, them
doing the
just doing the
business for
thing.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everton, Nottingham Forest, to be honest, probably the most boring game of the weekend so far.
But
But
but on top of that, I said I was had to give kudos to Nottingham Forest. So far, the hole in the own. I'm glad that they're back up in here. I'm very glad to see that, and they
Yeah.
really they've done they've done plenty work, like 100, close to 160 million already spent. So I mean, they're doing something. Something people want to come and play with them for. So they're doing something right.
Yeah.
yeah, Johnson scored for Nottingham Forest in the 81st minute. I personally thought when I saw that, I was like, well, all right,
Game done.
job done, points in the bag. Next thing, the Murray Gray on an assist from Pickford.
Yep.
Ball left the goalkeeper. An excellent kick picked up by the Murray Gray. Beats a defender in the back of the net. I mean, so the game ended up 1-1, but really and truly, Everton continued to underperform. Did not really impressing,
Mhm.
because if you struggle against a promoted team, so far Everton has struggled right through, in my opinion,
Yeah, they
Mhm.
have.
so far. Next game was Fulham Brentford. Well, that was pace. Final score on that game is Fulham 3, Brentford 2.
The
In the
beast,
first
man.
minute, Bobby Reed scored. It was a scrappy goal. It wasn't really impressive,
He's
but who
Jamaican.
cares? A goal is a goal, right?
Goal is goal is goal.
Correct. We had Paulina scoring the second goal. Andreas Pereira with the assist. Andreas Pereira actually looked good
Whew.
that game.
Yeah, he
He
looked good
looked
so far for this
he
season,
was
actually.
dominant in the midfield. He also had a free kick attempt saved. He had a nice shot on target from a free kick outside the box. So look, he was good. And then with them being 2-0 up, Here coming back the bees. No guard getting that corner
Yeah, yeah,
routine
yeah, yeah, yeah.
seem like that's definitely a training ground.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the execution was perfect. So, and then we had Ivan Toney picking up their second goal in the 71st minute. And at that point, you told yourself, Brentford looked like they were gonna come and take it. The
Snatching like
Yeah,
3 points. Yeah,
the
momentum.
momentum seemed to be with Brentford at that point when it was 2-2. But that
mm-hmm.
man Mitrovic, boy.
Yeah, boy. Yeah,
I know a lot of people. For people who don't remember Mitrovic, the last time Fulham was up in the league, Mitrovic was in the league, and I think he only scored like 6 or 8
yeah.
goals.
True. Very true.
No,
And a lot, a lot,
he
a lot
actually
of
scored.
people thought this time would have been the same thing. Clearly, this is not the same Mitrovic. This is another person because he ain't playing.
Well,
He ain't
the
playing.
guy, the guy, this Indians just smashed the championship record. He disintegrated it.
Yeah,
Man scored 43 goals, and he came in with a hot streak, and he made mincemeat of the best defender Van Dijk when they played Liverpool. So the man, he may not be top 5 or top 6 charm worth of a striker, but he's doing the work. He might
yep.
he might reach 20 goals or something, but he's gonna put in the work and
But I, I,
get
I,
the,
I,
get the
I
goal.
think I think he's gonna reach 20 goals. I think he's gonna reach 20 goals.
I do
You know,
this in a Spurs jersey if he score 20 goals.
you see his performances is just looking. He just seems to know where that goal is, boy.
Yeah, yeah, he's
Yeah,
getting.
You
yeah.
can't sleep on him. You can't sleep on him at
Mm-hmm.
all. So let
Well,
me gonna move along to Leicester City versus Southampton. That was a win for Southampton. Leicester playing at home. They lost 2-1. Um, James Maddison scored the first goal in 54th minute, which was again a free kick
yeah,
over the wall, low
some
on the
nice free kick,
ground.
some nice free
Nice
kick.
free
Yeah.
kick in the corner. The keeper couldn't reach across, so that was it. And then when Leicester thought they were going to get the points, Southampton came and Che Adams with the double. James Ward-Prowse with the assist for the second goal. Um, this Southampton team is a team that I picked to go down because I don't really know where the goal's gonna be coming from.
Yeah, they don't create much.
But this Leicester team is also horrible. If it's one team I don't ever expect to keep a clean sheet so far in
Is Leicester.
football, that is Leicester. Leicester
Yeah.
is the one team I don't ever feel they're going to keep a clean sheet.
Well,
They have horrible concentration. Like, I don't know. Like they really need to have like a team huddle and really get his team mentality up, because it's almost like it's not a matter of some teams. There are some teams who in the team they just struggle. They don't know how to keep a lead, right? That is not the case with Leicester. Leicester is literally once 55 minutes pass on the clock, this team is going to lose focus, whether they score or not. So it
And all
literally
the
is.
goals so far for the season, you're right. All the goals they've conceded have been late goals.
Yeah, they can't focus after a certain point in time. So it leaves you to wonder where, like, this is something that has to be fixed from from the psychologists coming right down to the players on the pitch, because I mean it's going to be heckling. Imagine you score a goal now and then you score a goal and you're nervous because of the tendencies and what we are accustomed doing. We are accustomed conceding and throwing away leads. That is a big concern. Somebody has to address that, and it comes on the game management and all. You score a goal and you're leading even, and all you know you done leaky already. Not even on counter attacks, or you're overloading, going up with 6 and 7 players, and all you could does never keep a clean sheet. So I don't know. Then somebody needs to talk to Brendan Rodgers and the squad and get these guys to focus, because it is a big concern at this level.
no, well, they lost the keeper. They lost. Well,
Sure.
Fofana didn't play this weekend. Talisman linked to Arsenal. So when you have that midfield defensive spine out of the picture, even though Rogers said, but for Fan and Talisman, the mindset not wasn't proper for this weekend here. So they have those two. Michael and gone. So you don't have these two now. We'll see at now. These players are coming now. And I mean, it's supposed to always be ready, but this level of incompetency at to a team that won the league as recently as 6 years ago.
Mhm.
And they were actually in the conversation of maybe they breaking into the top six. And this season has shown a full 180 on that. It's just like they either become another mid-table team or they follow the ranks of previous Premier League winners who couldn't keep up with the spending of the big six and just reach back down to the
And,
championship division where they were.
and that's another thing I want to touch on. They would normally sell a player and buy two.
Mhm.
When they sold Maguire, they bought two. They normally would they sell players, but they reinvest the
Yeah.
money. And they haven't gotten anybody of notice. You're just seeing players leaving and you're not seeing anybody coming.
Well, another
And
part of that is in the background is a sporting director. He going to Everton now. So that's the guy who discovered
Yeah.
Kante, who
Yeah.
discovered well Morgan and Vardy and all these guys and them. So he's not
big,
there
big,
anymore
big,
as well.
big,
He was
big
like
players
that
like
yes,
Drinkwater
scout.
and
Yeah,
things.
he was like one of the major scouts as well. But James Vardy, I mean, let's be honest here. For me, that is one of the there's a big chunk of the puzzle already to fix the problem. You are the remaining one and the leader who was in that team that whew, avoided relegation literally
Mhm.
by the skin of your teeth. And then the next season found the resilience to come through. And even when you watch the documentary and the video and stuff, Claudio Ranieri had these guys who it was pep talk after pep talk after pep talk. Wes Morgan had these guys regardless of what was going on, all their focus, stay focused regardless of what. Jamie Vardy had to step up now and he has to be the voice in that locker room at this point in time. He came through that rank, he experienced what it was. He
You
has to
think
talk to the players now and tell them, yo, you see what's going on here? We had
if
to
you
shake
were
up now, otherwise.
Jamie Vardy or Brendan Rodgers, I have to tell you at this level, you reach this level here. I already I'm our champion. Rogers, he came from but Rangers told him he
Yeah.
left immortality for mediocrity. So he has a point to prove. Vardy has
Mhm.
nothing to prove. They don't want to play, cool, no problem. I'm not going to hype up myself with them. We know the issues, we see the issues. If we as fans could see that, obviously those in the background will see more technical aspects of it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a case of Vardy not talking to them. I think it's a case of they maybe not want to listen or trying to overcompensate when it is that they're doing something. Because as I said, if they overload them going forward and they're accustomed conceding late goes, why continuously doing it? So
Yeah.
that's something that if they don't figure out soon, Rogers is going to follow Frank Lampard and being sacked before the season is over. That's just unfortunately how it will look.
Hmm.
So like Deshaun said, Rogers don't have it. So
And I for one, I don't rate Rodgers at all. You see that? You see when he fell short with Liverpool, I mean, he did it in Scotland, getting man his props, but
mm,
he not as a head coach, he doesn't impress me. He not up there in my book.
yeah, true.
The last game to play yesterday was Bournemouth versus Arsenal, and that was definitely an exciting game on the eyes.
Very much so. I hate that.
Arsenal look like a force, winning the game 3-0, cementing their place at the top of the Premier League in game week 3. Martin Odegaard with two with a double in the first 10 minutes of the game.
Yep.
That's Arsenal fan. This season, this is. I remember I was telling you earlier, Chad. Last time they went 3 games undefeated. Well, they won the first 3 games. It was in the middle of the 49 game run they had, and they won the league. I'm not saying what happened this year. I don't want it to, but just based on the first 3 games, yeah, you could
I
hate
can't
Arsenal.
remember. Go
This
ahead.
you could hate Arsenal, dislike them, love them, indifferent about them, but you have to admit they play some very, very nice
Yes.
football. They gain the results, the scoring, but as with everything in football is inevitable. Like Ramos getting a red card, Arsenal's gonna find someone to do something and Arsenal at top and it's gonna be joy in the world again. But
As
right
as
now,
as Deshaun said earlier, Arsenal has a very easy start. They didn't play nobody yet. So
um,
let's see.
nah, Crystal Palace playing Crystal Palace first game I see is in London Derby. That's not an easy game. They made it
I
look
agree.
easy. They made it look easy, but it was not an easy game. I don't think we should overestimate that. Leicester gave them a scare, but they came across that, and well, Bournemouth, yeah, Bournemouth was a no disrespect to the Bournemouth, but that was an easy game. That was an easy game. I can't even fight that. That
At
was an
one
easy game.
point, I thought what Dortmund would I get about 9 yes.
Yeah, it,
It was looking so bad.
it
Serious,
really,
it was looking so bad. I was like, wait, this team looking again about
I
9
mean,
yesterday.
I was really impressed with Arsenal for this season so far. I think what impressed me the most is that Arteta has been begging for time since he has been coaching at Arsenal. Some people thought he had too much time and people weren't seeing the plan he was speaking of.
mm,
But he did mention in one press conference, and he mentioned it once, or at least once when I saw it, where he said, there are some things and possibly, some egos that need to come out that we need to get rid of and then build. And it seems as though he has gotten rid of these egos. Um, and this team he has here now, they are playing the football he wants to play.
but that's true,
And
man.
with that happening now, with all honesty, my only concern for Arsenal, they may be too young. I
But
feel the team just might be too young, and that may be the problem for me.
well, well, two things. Two things. What Martin said here that 3 games don't make a season is very very true, and I'm not saying that they're going to win the league or prophesizing it. I'm just saying right now the vision Arteta had that he was trying to implement a season and a half ago. You're seeing it bearing fruit now. You're seeing where he watered the plant and it is coming up. It's coming out now. You're seeing it. And the second thing is what Adels was saying. Adelaide was saying is that they're too young. When snakes young, the venom they don't know how to control the venom and just bite everything over poison it. And know that they have this momentum going with them. They're looking like again last week we spoke about this. I said they're looking like a team who they have gone through enough. So they have something to prove, not to anybody else, but to themselves and for the fans. And they're really playing as even if that they have a easy start, they get any points. City drop points. How often you see that City drop points early on in the season and Arsenal although they played different times, but Arsenal take advantage of the fact that we have an easy start. If this is the case, let's get as much points as possible until we bounce up whomever may be our
Mhm.
title challengers. And honestly, again, even if they don't beat the big boys, they're gonna get points off of them, even if it's 1 point. I don't see Chelsea beating them. Chelsea fans could vex with me. I don't see Chelsea beating them. I don't see Liverpool beating them. I don't see United beating them. City are going neck and neck with them. But that's just me. I don't see these teams beating Arsenal right now. Spurs are going to get ripped apart. As good as Spurs playing, the Arsenal right now, as of right now, I don't see that happening. So it it is definitely going to be interesting as a Chelsea man watching Arsenal play this kind of football after pulling on them for so much years. But as a football fan, it's nice to see that they found themselves back in the rhythm that we know Arsenal could be. And it's definitely going to be an interesting 35 games again to go here and see what happens here.
Yeah. I think my concern is the experience factor. I think that is definitely going to kick into play as the season goes along.
Mm,
Um, and especially with a World Cup here as well. I think I would wait later in the season. Definitely football wise, there's no team that has looked close to them right now. Um, but he's trusting in his youth, which is working for him now.
mhm.
But when the pressure comes on, especially in the second half of the season, where every game seems as though it's 6 points more than three, it'll be good to see the mental resilience of this team now, how they would approach all of these games and see where they go from there.
Yeah.
I like this comment simply because literally is they should just take my words out of my brain and type it out on the screen. So let me read it. Arsenal good start. I want to see their mentality when the rough patch comes. That's usually their undoing. And that was exactly my thought. I am like, when this team hits some adversity, and everybody goes through it, right? Nobody goes through a 38 game season without hitting some point, some adversity at some point.
Mhm.
When this team gets hit with adversity, do they have the character? And I think that is what Adelaide is alluding to when he
Yeah.
says that they're young. Do they have the character? Do they have the personalities in there to keep things together? If they do, then I think the rest of the league might be in trouble. As it is right now, we haven't seen that from an Arsenal team in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
So until we do see that, I ain't worried too much. Today's games. Oh, I only spoke about the first two games. Game number 3. Goal number 3. Sorry, was William Saliba, which was
What?
a hell of a rocket.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy.
In the second half, Gabriel Jesus had a goal choked off by VAR to offside. I was very impressed. Gabriel Jesus again had another good game. He had another good game.
Yeah,
It's unfortunate that
getting
he didn't
form.
really get any points other than a little assist.
We can skip this portion of the show. That portion. Let's skip this portion. Let's skip that.
Yeah.
So this morning, the first game, bright and early Sunday morning, Leeds versus Chelsea. Leeds beating Chelsea 3-0
We throw them that bone.
with goals from Aronson, Moreno, Harrison, and Chelsea having Koulibaly sent off on a second yellow card, leading to a red.
This is what happens when you link with Harry Kane, where there's Harry Maguire, where there's rumors or not. This is what happens. And I don't like whoever started that joke and reached the ESPN. It ain't funny. It only laughing and I didn't see it. This when it first goal score, I was like, all right, cool, no problem, we'll better. The second, that nonsense with Mendy, whatever. Second goal, I was like, all right, we fight it here now, let me go up. When the third goal score, I went and sleep. It didn't matter.
But what was that Chelsea team that showed up today, though? Like, I don't know. It really didn't seem like. I mean, in all fairness, there are not many teams that can recover when your goalkeeper have a moment like that. But yeah, man, bro, man. But here, what I'm saying, at the end of the day, besides that, there's a team that has a lot of character. So I was expecting Chelsea to respond. But Leeds coach, he got a lot of licks for bringing in all these Americans. But boy, this guy, yeah, it's working. The guy got licks with them, but they're repaying his trust. So wow.
Well, he at Red Bull Salzburg, he was doing similar. He was pressing high, good, exciting, flowing football, and the it's like a two-faced thing with me. Like the Americans actually doing good in football, like the players coach wise, and then to see it in the English game, not just in the MLS, in the English game, the top tier against a top team and press high on the counter. I'll come to that just now, Deshaun. I'll come to that just now. And they did their job, they did their homework, and it was unfortunate they get result. We could have scored in the first shot of the game, just wide. And the mentality with Chelsea right now, I don't know what's the mentality, but from on the field what we see it, I mean, Tuchel had the touchline ban, but we'll be too exposed when we're going forward. I don't know what causing that right now. Some other people might get more insights in it. Honestly, sometimes I don't like to watch Chelsea play. Honestly, yes, I'm a Chelsea fan. Might be paradoxical or whatever, but I don't like to watch them play because I know what we're capable of, what we can do, and as it doesn't come out, and it'd be sad. It'd be sad. Now, what Deshaun said there with Kante, move on is such a strong statement, but we need replacement for him. I personally would like Declan Rice because the guy's already in the Premier League. He's young, he's English, he plays with Mount and Reece James with England. So it would be a natural transition. Plus, he's from Chelsea's youth academy. He Kante now is getting injured a lot more. Kova was in the game as well for similar reasons. And we see the need for a DM. Jorginho's time in Chelsea, someone who has backed him a lot, Jorginho's time at Chelsea, it needs to phase out. And between this season and the beginning of next season, we're going to see a lot more of these kind of results if we don't have backup for Kante and Kova. Because Gallagher is not that type of player. That's not his role. That's not his
Gallagher is definitely a box to box, but I wanted to ask you as you bring him up, what are your thoughts on Gallagher? How did he play?
I like him. He has the energy, the spirit. He just needs to just fine tune it. Just fine tune it a lot more. Cause when he came on his Spurs game, he could have scored actually within his first or second touch. So he has the mindset there. Crystal Palace last season, he was one of their best players, if not the best player for me at Crystal Palace. He was doing his job, and if Tuchel could bring that same energy and incorporate it inside Chelsea's midfield, maybe not play Loftus-Cheek out on the right as his natural position. I'm not a coach, but I'm just saying you have Mason Mount as a right wing, you have Havertz as a striker, you have these guys doing jobs that outside of their job spec. Yes, they're supposed to be able to play like the total football talk, but there are certain players who not built for these kind of things. Havertz is not that out and out striker Chelsea has right now. Maybe we could try to play without a striker. I mean, City did it without a striker. Let's just play fluid football going forward. And I mean, this result was disappointingly expected. Not with Leeds, but some kind of thing like this. But I'm glad we get it early. So we have a win or loss, a win or draw loss. So we get the point. We get us out of the way. I mean, next week is Leicester. But this Leeds team here, I mean, like I think it was Darren was showing in in one of the groups there that everybody beat Leicester except us. So we going back to Zeta, we going back to this kind of Robin Hood type of football. You know, we steal from the rich and give to the poor teams because I don't see it. And if we keep like this, is Chelsea could finish seventh. Realistically, Chelsea could finish seventh because it's not going to get easy from here. Blood in the water. We seeing teams Liverpool and Manchester United looking for points. Teams in the middle looking to prove themselves, and teams above us looking to maintain that status quo. So this has to be the one-off loss from now on. This has to be the one-off loss because this cannot continue at all.
Trying to say anything, Gallagher has the potential, but he needs to learn the discipline needed for that position. I think potential is the key word. He looked like a good player for a mid-table team. That's how he looked today. He looked a little bit shy of what is required for the likes of Chelsea.
Well,
that was my impression of him today.
Yeah, he definitely.
The other person I want to touch on in this game is Rodrigo. Right now, Rodrigo is the leading scorer in the Premier League. He has 4 goals. What are your thoughts on Rodrigo?
I was talking to someone last week, and he said something, and it's only when he said it came to my mind. And he said, if it wasn't said, you wouldn't have realized that Rafinha left Leeds. He said Rodrigo just filled that slot so naturally, like he just took up where Rafinha left off. I would agree with that, and I think more than that, he had his injury concerns in the earlies, and then he wasn't being able to play in his natural role and style. I think with Rafinha leaving, I am really seeing the Rodrigo who I knew at Valencia, the Rodrigo who has the skill, has the IQ, tremendous passing ability. If he gets a half a chance, he could punish you. He's also one of the few players on par with Ante Rebic, has that ability too, where the goalkeeper don't have to make a mistake. These guys have a tremendous record of scoring first post goals. These narrow angle goals. He's one of the few that has that natural ability. So he has been taking the mantle upon his shoulders. That is important because nobody knows really what the whole timeline, and Patrick Bamford, who has been their go-to source of goals for so long in coming back. The team is still, Sinistera and these guys have shown that they have quality in the middle, but Leeds haven't really faced a team that has applied the pressure consistently through the middle. So how big a loss has Calvin Phillips really been? Like, there are certain things that Leeds hasn't really been tested on so far. But in terms of someone taking up the mantle and taking it, he's like Rafinha with more consistency in goals. And that is a big deal. I love that guy. I love that guy.
My whole thing, I didn't write off Leeds, but I always felt Leeds was going to struggle because the question for me is where the goals going to come from. Because Rodrigo scored like 6 goals last season.
Yeah.
Right? So, you tell yourself, okay, you're not expecting this from him. Bamford started off, got injured again. So it's like, and then lo and behold, when you watch the kind of goals the man scoring, when you watch the kind of runs the man making, you tell yourself, this can't be the person that scored 6 goals last season because you're on 4 goals already. You understand? After 3 games. So now that we see where the goal's going to come from, I don't know if you all remember the first season that Leeds came up. Harrison was unbelievable as well. Harrison chipped in with a lot of goals and a lot of assists. And I see Harrison's form seem to be getting back to that time. So I think Leeds is a team now I have to pay more attention to because I really didn't. As far as Chelsea goes, I don't know if it's just his excellence or if it shows issues with the team where every single game that Chelsea plays, the one outstanding player continues to be Reece James. He is like head and shoulders above every other player. Every defender, every attacker.
And that is why he's always in the conversation as of 1-2 right backs in the league right now. The man, hands down, he is... How I should say this, boy? Right now, he is the best player for what he does consistently, day after game after game. Because when we lost Chilwell, it was like, all right, we will try and, make up as much. But when we lost him as well, you see a significant dip in the expected results that we will serve, expected results, and it was just a continuous back and forth. We have him and we have Cucurella on the other side. And Cucurella, so far to me, he's getting good. If he follows with Reece James' example, Reece James is, as I said, Chad, no matter what, he's always there. Only if Kante is playing, then he may drop the second best on the field. And sometimes even better than Kante. But James is going forward, coming back, breaking up tackles, sending those balls across the top, whipping the team from his side. The guy just does everything remarkable. And I really hope Chelsea wraps him up to a long-term contract very, very soon. Or else it's gonna, I don't know, it's just gonna be a situation.
And Real Madrid wants him too.
But they could do something, but I want to say it on the show. They could do something. I want to disrespect the show,
But Thomas Tuchel has to get some. I think we laying him off the hook a lot because since last season I've been saying it. Last season he, on paper, he has a CDM in his formation, but since last season he has basically abandoned that role. And I was telling someone last season, for the duration of last season actually, and I said it's such a dangerous thing that he has done here. And it's just that they haven't been exploited for it as yet, where he took Kante from being a safety, the best safety in the world, and I make no apologies for saying that. But you took Kante from being a safety and made him into a box-to-box. He is quick. He's a very accurate short passer as well. Tenacious, he'll go back and forth. But when you abandon your safety like that, you find that you are going to be susceptible to counter-attacks. And Chelsea is paying the price for that. Added on to that now, you have somebody who, he's not just like the average box-to-box neither. N'Golo Kante is a ball winner naturally. It's his instinct. So when N'Golo Kante goes forward and going all these different places, carrying the ball, chasing the ball, creating spaces for people off the ball, he's still trying to dive in a tackle. Now his muscles are going to be it's going to take a toll on his hamstring and everything like that, because it's not like he's playing a boxer box and relaxing until they're chasing back or anything like that. He's playing with the same intensity of ball winging when he's high up the pitch, middle of the pitch, chasing back. And now we I'm hoping not, but we could be seeing a consistency of injuries to N'Golo Kante, which I hope is not the case. Thomas Tuchel needs to do something about that particular. He needs to get somebody to sit down in the hole. He just has to get someone to sit down in that hole. And I think once that happens, well, not just that alone, I think Jorginho could leave as well. But besides that part, he'll save a lot.
Yeah, but once Kova is fit and if he doesn't play the Jorginho, he has a combination of either Loftus-Cheek, Kante, or any mix of those three in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it is that how right now he plays Reece James in the right centre back, and then Loftus-Cheek on the right. Well, maybe I don't know what it looks like on paper, but when going forward, Loftus-Cheek cuts in and James cuts on the right. So with Kante being injured and Kova being injured as well, the makeshift right now. We speak about last year. Yeah, what Deshaun saying there. I'm not gonna say must. I'm not gonna say must leave, but he definitely needs less game time. But because he is a liability in the middle. The first goal against Spurs, he held on the ball too long. Just boom the ball up the road. Today was the same situation. He got lost in midfield, but when Kante and Kova in the middle, very rare you see these kind of mistakes happening.
Yeah.
And you rightly said with Kante, with the injuries, that's why I said, to me, there are some Chelsea fans who think he's overpriced. He would be because he's English, but Declan Rice is a natural. You don't want to get somebody who have to climatize to the game and whatnot. I mean, United got one of the best DMs to me. He's one of the master of the dark arts who learned from the wizard himself, Ramos, Casemiro. And that is a big game changer right there. Just that one player. So we need somebody of that caliber. And Declan Rice is the natural. He will easy naturally there, and Kante might get some more rest and play the bigger games or cup games or whatever the place may be. But Jorginho is going to go next season. That's not an if, no, but no, maybe. Kante is on his way out unless a new contract is signed next season as well. So you're seeing this is either the end of the old Chelsea before Tuchel comes in, or this is the beginning of something that we have not seen at Chelsea for a long time, which is a completely new team since even before Antonio Conte. Some of these players have been here. So it's definitely going to be something to look at in the next 2 seasons at most coming up.
But I think the main problem here, besides the central thing, is and we're all on the same topic here, is Jorginho. Jorginho is the type of player he has 2 qualities, literally 2 qualities. He's an excellent penalty taker, and he's a very, very efficient stabilizer or moderator in a team that moves the ball very, very fast. So you see, Jorginho was a completely different player when he was at Napoli than by Chelsea, because Napoli is a team that is absolutely fluid. Their ball movement and player movement is ridiculous. It's almost like how Barcelona used to be. And when you have a player who is as composed and rhythmic as Jorginho, that is master of one-touch sideways, backward passing to stabilize or slow down the play at times, he's efficient there. But when you're in a team like Chelsea, who is more calculated with the approach carrying the ball upfield, and then players are making deliberately timed runs going forward, and instead of treading a pass or finding someone else, all you have to revert to is your instinct to take a touch and slow down the play, which scraps the entire build-up. That becomes problematic. And it disrupts an entire team's tactics, settings. And he's not a ball winner neither. So it's not the case like if he loses the ball, he's going to get it back for you. So I think it should be one of the players who I wouldn't get rid of him because he's critically experienced. But what I would do, he has to be someone to come off the bench if you're trying to get a result in the bag, like you have a result and you've seen it out, and the game kind of real open-ended, you could bring him on to stabilize. But besides that, if he's a mainstay in the starting 11,
yeah, It's gonna be
He'll have to go. I
yeah,
like him,
very
but he'll have to go.
All right. Let's see what goes on with Chelsea next weekend.
you get no
Um,
3 points.
so the next game we had today was West Ham versus Brighton. Now West Ham seems like they just want to give Manchester United some company on the bottom of the league. You understand what I'm saying? Because I thought when I saw this game, I said, well, all right, West Ham finally going to get some points on the board. Well, I thought wrong. West Ham lost to Brighton 2-0. The first goal was a penalty put away by McAllister. And the second goal was Trossard. That, he is just an aggressive, troublemaking player. You
Yep.
give him an inch, he is going to hurt you. Assist by Pascal Gross. West Ham just seem unable to find the net. They have Antonio. They have guy in the midfield who scored a lot of goals coming to the end of last season.
Bowen.
They have the pieces from last season that was doing it for them. And they also brought in a couple new pieces, but they just can't seem to find the back of the net. But that's West Ham for you. We ain't really going to spend much time talking about West Ham. Moving along to the game of the weekend.
Yeah, boy.
And that is Newcastle versus Manchester City. I don't know, but to me, this game is going to go down as a classic. It was really end-to-end. The game was open. Let me run through the scores, and then we'll talk about different aspects of the game. You had Gundogan, an assist from Silva, 5 minutes in, and you told yourself, wow, City going to blow out this team, this unbeaten team, the clash of the two unbeatens. Well, if that's what you thought wrong. In the 28th minute, Miguel Almiron, with the ball hitting him more than he hitting the ball, scored. Scored in the 20th. Alan Saint-Maximin with the assist. Alan Saint-Maximin was a monster today. I am sure right now it is what? It is almost 7 here in Trinidad and Tobago. So it is probably 12 o'clock in the UK. And I am telling you, Kyle Walker is having nightmares now about Alan Saint-Maximin.
Yeah.
He is holding on to that teddy bear tight. Saying, mommy, keep that man away from me, because Saint-Maximin was just ripping it up. Callum Wilson, again, another assist from Saint-Maximin. I don't know, but this guy is a top-class finisher. He put in the second goal in the 39th minute for Newcastle when they went up 2-1. That finish was pure class. That first touch to penetrate that defense, to cut between those two players. I remember the goal he scored last week. I mean, when Wilson is fit, he is one of the best strikers in the Premier League. He is one of the best finishers in the Premier League, without a doubt. Hey, look, somebody was making a comment about Brighton, boy.
I remember I spoke about that last week.
Until boy Santana.
Graham Potter really is doing a wonderful job at Brighton. I always say that Graham Potter is needed at another side other than Brighton right now.
Graham Potter's name has been starting to get mentioned as consideration for one of the big boys. So let's see how it goes. Who knows if Everton might come knocking.
That free kick Trippier scored to make it 3-1. That was... I didn't expect that to score. I mean, line up nice. It's saying it's like, all right, cool. That was a single reach across, and
I expected it to score.
Like what?
I when I saw the free kick and I saw Trippier take the ball and then he plays it and then he pick it up and he spin it wrong and he plays it, but I say, Lord, boy, why I didn't put this man in the fantasy team, boy? Serious, before he take the kick, I say, why I leave this man on my bench on fantasy, boy? Wait, because Trippier is that dude. He does that for England religiously. He is the dude to do that.
Edison had it. He does the reach in time.
I don't know, boy. I felt like I knew it would have scored when I saw he put the ball down and then he had raised up and he was talking to Shah. And then he watched, obviously, the watch he post, and then he, he went up and we set the ball. When the camera came out in full view and I saw where Edison was, I was begging myself because I didn't pick him in fantasy. So I was hoping and praying, let this man miss the target because somebody with the caliber of him, anytime he goes over on Edison's side where he should be covering because Edison was badly positioned, I just knew if he had it on target because he hits the ball with pace, it would beat Edison. And so said, so done. And I was like,
That
wow.
the level at St. James Park just exploded. Just like what?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I was, and as I told Chad again earlier today, I was like, I'm not even a City guy, and I knew this game ain't done yet. City is gonna come back, and they did it. I mean, De Bruyne with effectively one again another worthy of assists, a beautiful pass,
yeah, but
cutting through teams like butter. Just like what I think this is the year that maybe if City, I can't even say this properly. If City wins the Champions League, I feel this is the year De Bruyne might get the Ballon d'Or because the guy is just picking up where he left off last season. The man, he could have scored. He hit one from outside and he left foot, just like
yeah.
what pace? And just like I don't know, boy. I don't know. It is ridiculous. This
I
team
think we
is
Listen,
should talk about, let's talk about Phil Foden because it's not the first game, it's not the second game, this is the third game where Phil Foden has been making extremely questionable decisions. This is about the third or fourth time for the season so far where he had a simple square, no technicalities, a simple ball he could just square in the center, and Haaland would have been
Alan was
one on
running
one.
unmarked,
And
alone,
whew,
acres of
I am
space.
like, what is going through Phil Foden's mind? He is not making the best decisions up on top there at all.
nobody
I
remember.
I watched Pep Guardiola's reaction to what you're talking about there. Pep looked like he was ready to lay an egg. He was
You
pissing,
remember
man.
for the better part of last season and then the season before that, they wasn't really playing with a centralized figure. So Foden, me, it's still with City players. A lot of them getting accustomed to playing for the for the number nine who is up there with it. The
Yeah.
ball is there. De Bruyne accustomed doing that with Lukaku. So he once you tell him he's there, he's gonna pass the ball. The ball for Bernardo Silva's goal. He just
Hmm, hmm.
he look like his space. He look like his space. You know? Nobody look at his space. The guy is there. So Foden, I won't be so harsh on him. Yes, he still come up for a lot of. He'll get some tap, but he definitely is going to get better. The more City play together with Haaland, the better they're going to get, and harder going to be them. Harder is going to be to beat them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It this
Well,
VAR.
and this that I agree with you, and I was thinking the same thing too. They're so accustomed not playing with a number nine that instead of in hitting that pass, he thinking about taking the shot.
Mhm.
But the reason I think that Pep was so upset is because I am sure Pep highlighted it and spoke to him about it
Yeah, had to be.
after the last game, right? They would have shown film and he would have been like, "Watch me, yeah, Haaland running through the middle here, right? Haaland
Just
picks
pass
the
the ball.
right runs. Haaland is always in the right place.
Yeah.
Just put the ball, right?"
Yeah.
And so when it is you talk to a player, you sit him down and you walk through it, and then you go and you see that. You will be
You think
pissed
it's any
because it's
man?
like, we do it, you know?
Yeah. Now I want to talk about something in that same City game that I saw coming. Remember the Tottenham game, right? Last week with the Cucurella hair pull, right? The red card with Trippier. You see how the double down now and they are sorry, not double down, they over extending now that immediately the referee is being told to go to the monitor, right? He's been told you go to the monitor now.
Mhm.
Last week it wasn't. Mike did admit he didn't tell Anthony Taylor to go. So now they get the red card turned over. And these are the kind of decisions that in the past would have affected that game tremendously.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this is the kind of game that City would have piled on and made it 5-3.
We all know Trippier is not a dangerous player.
Yeah, he's not a malicious
Right?
player.
He doesn't have that. He's not known for being an aggressive tackler. He tackles, yes, but he is not a dangerous player. But I think, to be honest with you, he's fortunate in the sense that, yes, when you watch it slowly, it was not as bad as it may have looked in real time, but his foot was still high. The VAR, if the VAR,
really,
the person dealing with VAR, if they didn't call along to the referee and say, go to the monitor, I don't think I would have a problem with that red card because his foot was still high.
For me, even watching it over on VAR, VAR,
so I think
he still lived that charm life.
I think Trippier got away. And
yes, he did, because
referees is be under pressure.
The ball, it wasn't even a bouncing ball. The ball was on the floor for the entire duration. And the height he came at and the timing, okay, it didn't seem as though he did it maliciously to injure De Bruyne, but there was no reason for your foot to be that high. It had nothing there that you could say was going after the ball. And in the so many modifications. I feel like the laws of the game evolving more than them Pokemon and them out there. So we don't even know which one to follow and how to go with. So he lived that dream today.
Yeah, but what Deshaun saying there is correct. But put it back up, Chad. I'm gonna put it back up. That there is correct. Because all of a sudden now, because of last week, they are telling the referees, if anything questionable at all, go to the monitor one time.
Yeah, but and what I was going to say to that is that, to me, the referee was put under pressure. If you give a man a card and VAR tell you go to the monitor, you are under pressure because the assumption is you made a mistake, right? If that ref had come back after watching that monitor and say, yeah, my red card stand bust out, I would not be vexed with the man. No, I'm not vexed that he overturned it, right? I could understand why he did, and he downgraded to a yellow. But all I'm saying is, Trippier to me is a lucky boy. Trippier is a lucky boy. Because he could have stand his ground, but once you tell a ref go to the monitor, the expectation is you made a mistake. That's why you're going to the monitor.
And this is the interesting thing about what Wenger spoke about a few months ago. He said situations similar to this. Like in hockey, where they have the timeout bin, the 2-minute bin. You'll get an orange card, you have the field for 2 minutes. When not done, you come back out, your next card is a red card, something similar. And this is where the evolution of the game it was going to happen. But the laws of the game also have to evolve with it, and also with it, how referees go about it. Because where you say their chat is correct, you as a referee, you give a card, your assumption before is my word is final. You're telling me now to go to the monitor. I could be vexed, but I would write a report later with this, yes. Red card stand, they go appeal it, they go win the appeal. So this is where now it is that you're seeing where technology is interfering. Is that the right word? Yes, I would say that. This is where I see now where technology is interfering with how referees had so much control and wanted to be the center point of the game. Similar to NBA, where referees used to make calls, they're just like, how is that even a foul? And they with at least within football for now, they have the referee is being told, here what? You're not saying you make a mistake, but just double check it in slow motion. Because yes, the foot was high, but you are right. At least the foot was high, but the contact on the player is where it is. He's not known for being a malicious tackler. It's not a Casemiro make the tackle. It's not a Diego Costa flying in to win a ball. It's not these players who are known to have to make malicious tackles doing these things. You understand? So it's not Rudiger would have got a card for sure. Whether he was innocent or not, would have gotten a card.
No, but I am telling you who Trippier is and his reputation, I think also is what saved him today.
Yeah,
another player doing the exact same thing. No VAR was going on even question that. Take your red and go.
And I'm glad that VAR is actually taking a proactive approach now and telling me what. Anything we see, we are going to go to
give the referee the opportunity to see it again.
Because if this had stood, City would have been 3 points. It'd be Arsenal, City on top of the league, undefeated, and it definitely would have been horrible. Oh gosh, hey, oh my god, who put up that
True.
estimate? Who made
Keenan Gravison, yes. Wow.
who
Jeffrey.
Them
Jeffrey?
was War Dogs too.
So should have C for captain and M for malicious next to the
Yeah.
players. Oh
Guys,
god,
before we shut it down, we have to talk about the work that Eddie Howe is doing, because
yeah.
I am very, 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 very impressed with what Eddie Howe has done with this team. This team, watch me. I started watching the game today, and I'm thinking, but this City Liverpool I watching here. There's not City Newcastle. There's a big hitter,
Yeah.
because these guys push City. They push City to the
Mhm.
limit. If it's one game, them fellas going in the take a shower after and they say, "Boy, we sweat today." Is this game? They
Yeah,
sweat today. They work hard for that draw, boy. They work real hard to get that draw today.
yeah. I don't think they should be vexed that they didn't get the window. I don't think they should hold their head up high. It's City you fought against. You understand? I mean, this is the guy who had Bournemouth running for a bit. He brought them up. They went back down. And everybody thought that Newcastle get this big money, and New United in town. Let we go. Eddie Howe out. But again, yes, sooner or later he would go. Maybe in 2 years' time. Maybe next season, because you want a coach who could handle the egos of the players coming in.
Yeah.
But of right now, what Eddie Howe is doing is maintaining where we want Newcastle to be. They say we want Newcastle either top four is your highest priority. Not highest priority. Top four is your top goal here. We're not saying you will get fired or not, but if you reach here, get a new contract.
Yeah.
Top five, anything top seven with Newcastle this season.
Any kind of Europe, any kind of
Yeah.
European football.
Yeah, it's going to be a major, major, major plus. And I don't think that we should just look at it as because they haven't splashed the cash and bought in these mega signings. They have the money and they're spending wisely. They bring Trippier
Yep.
back to the EPL, and it looks as right now. It looks as Ansel said. Ansel said,
Long-term project.
yeah, you're bringing players, you incorporate players who were there before with the new players, and they become part of the culture within the Newcastle system, and then they move on and they move forward. I mean, I saw a comment somewhere that says if they used to still have the Premier League games, best games, DVDs, this game would have been on it, and I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It definitely would have sold. It would have sold out in Newcastle within seconds. It was definitely a classic
A
game,
classic.
and I hope this United actually give you something to look forward to this week, Chad.
But at the same time, I think Man City, they probably really benefited from the speed of Alonso and Maximan too, If Newcastle's other attacker, if Callum Wilson and some of the others were as quick as him, because there were some breakaways, he got the ball and tormented Walker and started to cut in. But by the time he reached by the edge of the 18, the strikers didn't reach up yet, So I am like, if they had anybody who could match him in speed, City could have been watching, I'm not exaggerating, 5 goals or 6 goals, This guy, I feel like Kyle Walker almost considered retirement. Like, if I was Kyle Walker, I'd have taken an injury and come off. I'd be real honest. I'd have hold my hamstring and roll and ball and let them bring stretcher and come off. Oh my goodness. It was torturous for Walker, boy.
No, to answer what Masa Santana answer was saying here with it's unfair to let them go because of not be able to manage egos. I'm not saying to let him go off the bat. What I'm saying is that a certain type of certain type of players respond well to certain types of coaches. Because remember, you're dealing with these egos who they believe all these players you want to come believe that they are the best thing to come to your club.
When you start buying the cream of the crop, men who have Champions League trophies,
Right.
men who win
You have
leagues wherever.
You don't have these kind of things. Yes, you are my boss, but I know more about European football than you, and you're supposed to be telling me how to coach and to play in Champions League. I'm not taking anything away from Eddie Howe. I don't want it to be to be seen as that. I'm just saying, but right
I
now, Eddie Howe is the right person for Newcastle to
Yep.
stabilize them, get them functioning maybe mid-team high up in table, and then easily, slowly but surely, we pave the way for a new project. You're going to see this statement just now. Thanks to Eddie Howe for what he's done, but we're looking to go in a new direction and etc. And then boom, the big players, the Erling Haaland cousin and Mbappe brother, and all these guys coming across the EPL, and that's just always that's the natural progression of things. I mean, when Chelsea was bought over, Ranieri was the coach. Nothing wrong with him inherently, but the new direction is a new direction they're going in. So they're going to, we're not discrediting what he did, but we're just going to go this way, and we're just going to continue up on a new track. I just hope. I just
I would just make my last statement to be I think Eddie Howe would be there for a while, particularly because if we remember, Callum Wilson and Joshua King, they were people who had potential, right? And he was the one that really got these guys to become clinical killer strikers with his football philosophy and his in terms of his final third direct play to them at Bournemouth. I felt last season he would have been a little bit under the cosh because they would have had to brought by Wood because Wilson wasn't really 100% fit. And at that point in time, Newcastle had so many different talents and all the hype. So they were so liquid, it seemed like they never had no real purpose going forward in the attacking third. Like everybody, it could have been anything. What we see in this season is that they're going forward with the same fluid kind of movement, but there's a Callum Wilson who he knows so well, and he built a system where the players know now that we can, if they get half a chance, you could put the ball to this guy because the coach trusts him. Clearly, the players trust him, and he has proven to us that he's going to get to the spot and get the ball there because it doesn't matter if it's a half a chance or a full chance. Callum Wilson is going to cause problems. The keeper is either going to save or you're going to have to foul him. He's one of the greatest in terms of the modern game technical finishers. Like his technique and finishing is, I find he don't get credit for it. As long as he is there, as you finish, if he gets injured, Newcastle could be in some type of worry, because they won't have that finishing to the play and the style that they play with under Eddie Howe. But as long as he's there, I'm seeing Eddie Howe there for the long term.
And I think he deserves it. He deserves it.
Yeah.
But let's see how it goes. I as much as I think he should be there for a while, I agree with Dr. Zeus, that is normally how things progress. When they're ready to splash the big cash, they normally just splash the big cash on our big manager as well. Gentlemen, before we shut it down, and remember to those tuning in, please subscribe to the channel, and let people know about the rewind. We normally don't do predictions on this show, right? It's a review show, so we normally do reviews. But tomorrow we have the last game of the weekend, which is Manchester United taking on Liverpool. And I want you guys and the people in the comments weighing to let us know before we shut it down. What is the result that you expect to see in that game tomorrow? Please go. Let's start off with you, Dr. Zeus.
But I don't know now. But that game is it's not a battle of no wins. It's a battle of the midfield because Liverpool has no midfield right now, and United have a untamed with midfield. So I would say again. I don't know. This hurt me to say this way. I would say United will win tomorrow. Chad, you know how I feel about your side, but I will see them. It's not a secret. It's not a secret. I just do like this side, but I don't see Liverpool winning. They'll score, but I don't see Liverpool. I don't see Liverpool winning. I actually see Cristiano doing something spectacular tomorrow and win the game for United.
How it is?
No, my prediction is solely based on what I've seen from Manchester United so far. I think the players it seems like they are silent protesting. So they're going out there and they really not delivering. So my prediction would be a 4-2 win for Liverpool. I think when in the scheme of things, I think Liverpool will start off hot because the players might start off like that. And I think this game might be the game to trigger
I
something
think when
mentally to
in the
let the
scheme of things,
players
I think
realize
Liverpool will
that
start off.
we're dealing with more than let me put everything else aside and focus on football and the club. Like we're being humiliated. And I think this would be the game, the turning point for Manchester United in this season. But I mean Casemiro is there, but I think the mentality I can't see the mentality changing in a week. And I think that is my major concern.
Fair enough, fair enough. My prediction is 2-1. I think we're gonna draw the game. So we are the full range. And we'll see, somebody ought to be right, right? One person pick a win, one pick a loss, and I pick a draw. So
You ready
at,
pick
at
that draw,
least
boy?
at least all of us won't be wrong. Be sure about that.
You ready? So you really pick that draw, boy? Why? What make you think that we will draw that game?
Um, I don't think the team ready to win yet.
No?
I agree with that, Liz. As far as the mental challenges that facing Manchester United players, the team just seems to be functioning like they shell shock. They don't seem up to it
But
psychologically,
but it's
right?
Liverpool though. It's Liverpool. I mean, this now is the right time to beat Liverpool as a United
I
player.
I totally agree that they have injuries, they have suspensions, you have club making excuses already. Everything is
It,
perfect to say yes, go and beat Liverpool.
and besides that Liverpool side, I mean, what better way to get back on a winning track
That
than
at
To
Liverpool,
beat
that
your
against
greatest
Liverpool.
rivals. I
than
agree. I
beating
agree with
Liverpool?
all that you are saying. But I still know when I look at Manchester United that they score one goal and it was our own goal.
So
You
they scored
understand
it.
what I'm saying? So they didn't score no goal yet. Right? You're dealing with a team that is psychologically just in the doghouse, and let me tell you something. I will never forget when Shaquille O'Neal was injured, right, during his time at Los Angeles. And he came back. And I remember watching the first game Lakers played when he came back from his injury. And he went up to dunk and he put the ball in the ring and he came off. He didn't want to attack the rim aggressively and hold on. We all know how Shaq used to do it. Rah!
Mm.
He didn't want to do that because it was a hand injury he had. And you could tell that he make a powerful move, but when he reached the ring, he softened up because he didn't want, he wasn't comfortable. That is how
Mm.
Manchester United playing at the moment. They're playing like a team that has been battered, that has been abused, and they just don't have any confidence in themselves right now. That's just what I see. And maybe if we could score first, or maybe if we could put together some nice knocks and take it to Liverpool a little bit, some confidence would come back. But we're just not confident enough. If we were a little more confident, I could see us beating Liverpool. But I can't see it now. Now, is it impossible? No. Liverpool is not playing good. Salah hasn't had a good Salah hasn't had a good 10 minutes of football yet for the season. Right? The most dangerous person. There's Diaz.
Yep.
Diaz is the danger man on that team, right? But United just not confident. So let's see how it goes.
So you have a team lacking confidence, a team lacking
And a
fitness.
team that's not playing well.
Yes,
That's
sir.
Blockbuster game on the cards.
But Martin now made a good point there. That is something I'm not speaking about there. We spoke about that same thing too, Chad. You win a game, you win one game and you go above Liverpool. I mean, like, it's extra motivation. Like, all right, even if we lost with other games, let me beat them at least now. Let me just at least let's beat them and we good. We are good. As a United fan, I'll be thinking like, let me just be good. We beat Liverpool. The laughter we beat all you. That good with me. I agree, like with Chelsea. We haven't beaten United in I can't remember how much seasons. And that's one thing that I can't say against them. I can laugh at them teams thing, whatever. But I can say at Chelsea, so I say, yeah, boy, we beat all it. No, it ain't happening. I will if we had to beat Manchester United, okay, cool. Yeah, we beat them. It's all supposed to be right now. You understand? It's all supposed to be right now. Liverpool, excuses by club, players injured, Mane gone. Salah is just a waste of time as usual, overrated in my book. They have no Nunes. Yeah, yeah. West Salah does be with the big games. Salah then
Nah, the
he don't be
overrated
anywhere.
person on that team for me is Alexander Arnold. But go ahead.
But so Diaz is the man. So if they want to go goal for goal, Ronaldo Diaz scoring, okay, cool. But Ronaldo's going to do something tomorrow, and it's going to remind people of why he is the greatest goal scorer. And Liverpool going to be for a shock when they watch the table and say, "Wait, now, but we below them now." They're going to. Yeah, right. I don't talk positive about this side, and it hurted me. I go and drink some Listerine here when I done it this year, but well, it have to be Liverpool.
But according to the comment that just come up, I agree with that. Like tomorrow could be a real swing if Manchester United does. I think Anderson, but he's not part of that. If Manchester United does score 2 goals unanswered and goes up 2-0, I mean, I think I'll be confident that I will be the one wrong next week, so I'll be prepared to admit to everybody that I was wrong. But I think if Manchester United goes up 2-0, for anybody watching Manchester United over the years, especially in big games, 2-0 is not a thing that they would see out a result. You're normally in for quite the embarrassment against that team, right? When they get confidence at that point, they normally explode. So I don't know. I think I'm going to get out and get my popcorn when the show is finished here to prepare for tomorrow. I think I'll make sure and have everything ready because I need to see this game tomorrow.
For sure. Definitely will have a lot to talk about on the rewind. Remember, we got fantasy football content on this channel. Also, the Fantasy Blitz. We're probably going to have a show, drop the first show on about Tuesday, and the second show will be on Friday. We're going to drop that. So, subscribe so that you will get those notifications about the Fantasy Blitz. And if you're interested in being part of the review, the EPL Rewind, and you're interested in fantasy, if fantasy football is something that you like, reach out, connect with the team, and we'll have you on the program. You know what I mean? So, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, people.
Support the United Hour. Click that like button and subscribe.